What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mindscapes. It's great to have you back. And this time we have Jon Doe in the studio. Great to have you here, bro.
What's happening?
Yeah, very good, man. Finally, great to have you back in SA. Yeah?
Yeah, loving it.
Stoked to be back. Awesome, man. This time you said it's just a bit of a holiday vibe here.
Yeah, and came to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the garden routes and chill, eh?
Yeah, wilderness after this.
Yeah, place is beautiful, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Awesome, man. So yeah, let's dive right in and start. Just the basic question I always ask is like, where you came from, how did you find your interest in psytrance?
From Cape Town, psy-trance, I'd say early 2000s. I think it was, I still remember like Silverstroom, Vortex. And it was the first party I ever went to. And after that, I was like, it's what I want to do. And it's been like, 26 years now chasing the dream. It's been a long time. Yeah.
We're getting older.
Don't tell my wife that. Yeah, so it's been like almost like a lifetime in this.
At that party, what inspired you the most? A specific artist, the decor, the venue?
It was everything. It was a collection of because I'd never heard psytrance before, never been to a festival. Silverstroom was so weird because it was like on the cliff, on the beach. I never knew any artists, never even knew Vortex, but just went with a friend of mine. It was like life-changing. It really was. When we'd finished, I remember we didn't even have a tent to sleep in. So we went for the night, partied through the night, and I remember sleeping at the back of the dance floor for like 4 or 5 hours, and eventually my friend came to wake me up, so okay, it's time to go home. And so I just spent the whole time out, and I remember just meeting the people and just the vibe itself completely blew my mind. And I remember also going down to the beach at night and, the dance with all the lights. It looked like there was like a spaceship on top of the cliff, and it completely, blew my mind. And then from then I just enjoyed it. And then I started to understand the music. I started to understand how the music was being done. I started trying to understand DJing and just trying to figure out what I'd experienced.
Did you, how long before you started DJing?
I'd say about a year afterwards, because then...
That's pretty soon.
Yeah, but during that year, I started going to festivals, and then I discovered Get a Fix.
Yeah, I remember.
And then a friend of mine was into sort of hard house music. And then I found like Gallery and Studio 47, 96 Degrees, Unity.
Dark Side.
And then there was this whole world of like dance music. And I was like, okay, there's a difference between this music and this style and that style. And then when I started to understand it, I just became very fascinated by the people playing the music, like the DJs. And then I was, these are the people writing the music. And as you know, back then, writing music wasn't as easy as it was today. You'd had remember the old PCs that they had?
PCs and recording loops and using Reason Propeller Head. And lots of guys worked on that software.
Yeah, so after that, I became interested. And then also a group of friends that I had, they were DJing hard house on vinyl. So then when I'd go to house parties with them, I was like, what are you doing? Show me what you're doing. How do you do this? And then it just took me in a whole...
So did you start on vinyl?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome.
Mixing hard house on vinyl.
Yeah, same.
Belt drives, and then figuring out what...
Oh, the belt drives were hard. It had to be so delicate. The platter was like a little wobbly, a little delicate. Yeah.
And I remember going to my friend's house every chance that we had, because he had his brother's turntables and he had like maybe 40 vinyls, and him and I would just mix one side and the B side and then try to figure it out. And then when we actually figured out what the DJing was, and they introduced CDJs, but it wasn't like CDJ, it was like the consoles. Remember the CD console? So I got to see like that advancement in technology.
Yeah.
But also when you're looking at a turntable and had the little red light and the little like dots on the platter sort of spinning, and like that type of stuff created the art and like the illusion. And so I was very happy that I was around to learn how to mix on vinyl.
Oh yeah, vinyl was incredible. Like what I used to do when I I was mixing breaks, drum and bass, hard house, and psytrance, and I was like, with CDJs now, it's mathematical equations and the 0.7 rule and like other genres and different BPMs, 0.8 rule, 0.9 rule, so on. And with vinyl, there's no rules. It's your ear. And when I did the cross-genre mixing, it's complete like bending of BPMs to merge the genres. And that's just ear. And like I would spend hours and hours every single day, like just hours and hours practicing.
Yeah. It's about the ear. That's why I'm glad I learned to trust my ear, which is the number one rule that they always teach you, where these days it is that you see something, it's more about the visual than about hearing, because you know that you can, for example, sync something and you know that half the job's done, but part of the fun of being a DJ back there was making sure that it was tight, that it was on BPM.
And because that drive is always not moving perfectly, so you're going to have to tweak it slightly. You can't get that perfect BPM set, you know.
Just a touch of the finger to slow it down a little bit. Yeah.
I love that. It was cool. But trekking with those vinyls around, I remember it was like cases. Those things are so heavy, you know. And then going to CDs, you could have 200 CDs in a wallet.
Yeah.
And that was amazing because it's like, okay, it's one wallet and I can carry so much music, you know.
I loved going with my friends. Like they used to play at Gallery. I used to love, I'll take your vinyls, go in with them, carrying the vinyl. I used to enjoy being that friend, you know.
Awesome.
Just want to sit and watch you. And so if we used to go out also, I would spend a lot of time like watching what they were doing. And I'd go home, and then I know back then, I remember we used to get mixes out of the UK, like mixes that they had done, that people had downloaded on Napster or whatever. And I listened to the mixes in my headphones, and I could start to tell when they were mixing. And then I would start to visualize sort of in my head, if I was there, how are they doing it? So in a way, I was trying to be at that place and trying to figure out, and that's before I even had my hands on any equipment. So when I'd go to my friend's house, I would try and emulate that. And it took us like months, you know, because I've got this one, and you think, okay, I've got it now, but then you realize it's out, and you make, I thought I had it, and it's, you know, so it was that whole process of trial and error, and then eventually you got that mix where I was like, yeah, it's so solid, did you hear that? And then it's like, you have to pay attention, and that was like the fun part of it.
Yeah.
But I never thought I'd be able to like actually go out and play and be a DJ. It was for fun, is because I was so fascinated by the dance music, by that art, because it was a style, it was a craft. So
now it's so easily accessible, and with the technology advances, that makes DJing actually super easy now. So now it's become about track selection, your crossovers and merging the music, and how to create a story, you know, even though it was about that, but before it was about that, plus being able to actually like listen and hear and move and tweak and like be on the fly adjustments, you know. Now there's like quantizing and, like you say, syncing and putting all your cues in and your hot cues so you can skip between. Before with the needle, you can't do that. You play the track, and then like the next track comes in, and you could mix back, go that one, and then bring it to this one, and then change the needle position if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely altered the state of DJing.
Yeah, the state of DJing, for me personally, in my own opinion, these days has changed from being a craft or an art form to more about how they look on the stage. And when people are utilizing the tools, but they're not utilizing them in that way, anybody can have a laptop and anybody can have tractor or record box and, you know, use it. But the art form, exactly what you were saying, reading the crowd, selecting the music, making sure that everything goes together, that's, for me, in a way, that's kind of gone. So I find there's a little bit less soul in today's DJs, especially like the young DJs coming through, because I feel they don't have those people to look at, you know. They're no longer there, that art form isn't there, and I think people are trying to just replicate what they see online.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a DJ because they think it seems cool, you know, in a club, but if there's everybody around you, like they're looking to be like the center of attention, but you know as yourself from being a DJ and from playing at lots of festivals, you're actually given control. And you're in control of...
You have a responsibility,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
You could have 5 people in an event, or you could have 5,000, but it's still the same. You're responsible for that particular time, and you're responsible for everyone's musical journey. And if you don't have a journey, start from here, go here, do this, do that, then it becomes sort of like the same thing, very like bland. And I find people also, they're not exploring music like they should.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, also, you know...
Also, music now becomes disposable. Before, we would gather music, and then that music would be recycled for sets. Now, music is changing and releasing so fast that
Shelf life.
the shelf life is minimal.
Yeah.
There are like a handful of DJs that will reach back, but a lot of sets that I've noticed, it's always the new music, the new music. And first of all, what I find sometimes is that it's quite overwhelming searching for this new music all the time. That's an incredible amount of time going through so much music, so many labels, so much music that's just constantly being released. And what I notice now, most artists, it's like the new thing, everyone just wants to release an album now. And it's just putting out. It's like it's quantity versus not versus quality, but quantity is the option that's going to get you seen more.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because in us as DJs, and even though I see live acts as actually almost it's the evolved DJ, because if you notice how more people are producing, because the accessibility to it's more is easier than it was before. So more people producing. Even some of the promoters I've spoken to in Brazil book lives, producers, over DJs, because they want the originality, that person's flavor, that person's design and style of music, instead of a DJ that mixes other people's music. Maybe their opinion is that anyone can DJ now, but a live is like spent dedication and time creating and crafting something that's unique to that person. What's your opinion on that?
When I look in Ground Up, which is the organization I've got in UK, our slogan is the last of the old school, because my mentality is the old school way. So we weren't always privileged to have international people, live acts available to us to see. So the DJs of that time were really good, but they were good because they were good. It wasn't because there was also a plethora of DJs that you could pick from. And as you do also, you know, being a label owner, you get emails and demos and links from everybody. So taking time to sit and listen to them, and I get that in Ground Up all the time. Love to play for your event, love to. And I also find what I'm hearing is a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So I like to draw on my own experience if I'm putting together a lineup or if I'm DJing at a party, because I like music that has emotion. I like to connect to the crowd, because as you know, when you have the crowd and the crowd at the edge of your fingertips, there's nothing like that transference of energy to be able to take a crowd over here and take a crowd over here. It's something really playful. But if it's, for example, the song that never ends, you start here and it's just the same all the way through. With a couple breaks, you lose that, you lose the soul. And I find a lot of people do all want to be DJs. Not a lot of them have the same goal. Whereas my goal, which I followed just because I really, really loved it. And I do find as a DJ, it's hard to find music that you like because there is so many. So over the years, I've known certain labels are good and I've found certain artists are good. But my music collection really spans like 10, 12 years. And I changed my music because of production styles. Yeah. So production gets better. So technology gets a little bit better. My CD box doesn't really have a shelf life. So even the newest party that we played, I still played at least 5 tracks that I've had in my DJ stash for about the last 3-4 years, and it's still top quality music. So I'm not on the hunt for new, because I don't think it's fair on the really talented producers, because, and you know, a lot of them are really talented. They can only put out so much music a year, and it's not fair that you put out I can understand if you're releasing 12 tracks in a year and that goes here and that goes here because you have that to release, but when you put out an album, that album might have been 3-4 years in the making, and then it's only going to last a month, and then you're on to the next thing. And I don't feel that people might get the right type of appreciation, because a good producer, no matter what, is good. And I think it also puts a lot of pressure on people producing to keep putting out, new music, where it's not really fair, because a lifetime's work only lasts that amount.
I think the world's being driven by consumerism, and even it was Spotify's CEO that stated artists were complaining that if they're getting minimal income from streams, they weren't getting seen and not generating income. So then the CEO of Spotify was like, just make more music and release more music, and then you'll get seen. Because so he's driving that consumerism from the listener's perspective, and telling the producers, well, you're not getting seen because you're not really making enough music. So then people are now driven to, in many genres, just pump releases out, because the more it's like an ad, the more ads in your face, the more the chance you have of someone clicking it, essentially.
Yeah, I did it back to back with one of our resident DJs for New Year's, and our DJ was like, oh, I have a whole stash of new music that I'm going to play. And I said, well, what have you listened to? I haven't really listened to too much, because I've got about 50 new tracks. I was like, well, what about the stuff that you've already got? Oh, no, I want to play all new stuff for New Year's. And I was like, okay. And then when I sent what I was going to play, she was like, well, this is not like new stuff. I'm like, yeah, I haven't played anything unreleased that I haven't been playing, because as a DJ, it's I still feel like it lacks, you need that quality and like that connection. And also, if you're turning up with a whole bunch of new stuff that you don't know, that you don't try, some tracks you actually might not really work on the dance floor. Because it is, if you are going for quantity over quality, you will find it like it really lacks something.
No, it does.
But it is easier to produce now than it was 25 years ago.
The accessibility now, and the amount of people that are putting out preset pack, loop packs, masterclasses, individual courses, and one-on-one teaching. It's given the curve to making good music is much quicker, but now people are also, like you said, the individuality side of things. People want to become like perceived as a rock star, or not a rock star, the next big star, making the next big thing, like for instance, like deadmau5, for instance, like one of the biggest producers that made some music that no one else was making, and then got to that level. But to get to that level is there's few and far between.
Years and years and years of work.
But developing a unique style and working on difference compared to like copycatting, Copycatting is not a bad thing because it allows you to learn, but to develop a new style, and the problem now is just there's just too many copycats, and it is going to happen
because
people
copy paste.
Also, but if you think about it, when you first started listening to it, you were inspired by a specific subgenre of psytrance. Like, did you latch to a certain style and BPM that inspired you more than another?
So it's funny how that works. When, like back in 2000s, there was only psytrance. It's like Goa trance, and that was what it was. And then as it developed, as you know, then you got nighttime music. South Africa was a big pioneer of nighttime sounds. Twilight sound. And then you had progressive music. And then genres have kind of moved up and down, where I liked, for example, one of my favorite artists is Broken Toy. And you can tell his music because he had that style. And then the producers that we were lucky to have back in the day, they had the unique sound. And I was always attracted to music like I said, that has emotion, because the only way to connect through music is emotion. It triggers something, like love songs. When you sing in a love song, it comes from like a breakup or something that inspires you. So if you can't connect emotionally with somebody, then there is no connection. So I was inspired by psytrance in general, but then as music has progressed, I found myself actually in a genre that these days they call it sort of progressive full on, I would say. And I used to enjoy like 145 down to about 142 BPM, whereas these days 145 doesn't really go down, it goes up. So I found myself lower. So about 138 to about 140 BPMs where I find myself now. And that's where I find the music that has a bit more emotion, a bit more like melodic content, and it has more originality than anything that's of a faster BPM. And then from that, I found myself also kind of liking sort of the techno, psy-techno at 130 BPM. And a couple of years ago, that was not happening. But when I actually started looking at music, that's what I find myself inspired to now. So all the psytrance that I get that's above like 142, I don't even, it's hard for me to like listen to. If I can bring it down, show me anything above that, it's hard to listen to, because it doesn't feel like that's my style anymore.
Yeah. So you got to sleep when I play.
Yes. You'll find me at the bar. But there's certain things like, a good producer or a good DJ is a good producer or a good DJ. It doesn't matter what they're playing,
They're able to tell give a journey,
yes,
like create a journey in their sets. Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate artistry of DJ, because there are very good DJs out there and there are very good producers, and you will always find them amongst the masses. And so, I'm a massive believer of that. And at Ground Up, our resident DJs, I've spent years looking for those particular type of people where you can teach someone stage presence. You can teach them how to relax a bit and how to interact with the crowd. But what's very hard to teach somebody is something that we were gifted, is like how to trust your ear. Because these days people aren't trusting their ear. They are looking at this and it's all about visuals instead of
trusting the programming, essentially, because it's a pre-programming, working on record box, aligning your grid, setting your cue points, your ins and your outs, and when you arrive to the set, that everything's kind of pre-programmed, pre-designed for your journey. But what I did notice at one point in my DJing in the last few years was that because of that overwhelm of how much music there is, that pre-program kind of became essential. But before, I would have CD wallets with 200 CDs, and I swear I want this track, and I'd flip to that page in my CD wallet and pull that CD out, because I know that music and I know where it is in my CD wallet. But now it's like gigs and gigs of music, and you put a USB and now you got to search a screen. It's a very different sensation to flipping a CD wallet and picking up a CD and putting it in and knowing where that is, other than searching an endless file structure of music, So I think pre-programming comes a little bit more essential now because of that, but it takes also that that free flow away, because before I could play a set with my CD wallet and never plan, because I knew what I had in there was what I was researching for such a long time was exactly what I wanted, Now there's so much you can have and the sounds vary. There's like subgenres within subgenres within subgenres, so the sounds vary and the direction varies drastically. So it becomes quite difficult to just have 500 albums and now wing a set and have a good flow, because it's just so much.
My process when I'm playing, and I try not to also play too many gigs a year, because obviously it's also fatigue in a way. But I know when I'm going out to a gig, I have an idea in mind. So I'll sit in the studio before I'm playing. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to start with and I know what I'm going to end with. And in my mind, I kind of have a structure, but I might take a USB with let's say 25 tracks on. And then I know, okay, for Origin last year, I knew, okay, I've got an hour and a half. That's roughly about 15 tracks. I've got 25 tracks, and I'm going to start here and I'm going to end here. But 2 or 3 tracks in, you might realize, oh, I've lost a little bit of energy. Okay, I've got something that's going to pick up the energy and the ability to wing it. And now maybe I'll put all that stuff in one folder so I'm not scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I know, okay, that's kind of where I want to go. If, for example, the DJ before me might have played 1 or 2 of the tracks, I do have backups. And when I'm doing, like, one of the projects I have is Scatterbrain DJs. That's with my business partner, but that's the techno. We like to sit, and also same thing, we'll have a structure. Okay, we're going to go here, go here, go here, but we also have backup tracks where during our set he might have said to me, like, okay, we've dropped a bit of energy, let's change it. Halfway through a track, we're able to skip and bring, you know, the vibe back up, but you need that flexibility to read the dance floor. And it's not a bad thing to kind of have an idea of what you want to do. If it turns out that no one's played your tracks, you're like, okay, this actually works out perfectly. It's not a bad idea to be prepared.
Yeah.
But to be like, I'm only going to do this and this is all I've got, you limit yourself in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's also for me, I don't like to have all this amount of music because it is overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, yeah.
It's overwhelming. And I know if I'm searching through tracks, like, I mean, think about in the day when you got music, you'd sit and listen to. So sometimes I might get a catalog from somebody. I might get like 30 tracks. I'll sit in my studio and I'll play, but I know, okay, I'm looking for this. So I might skip for a little bit, listen for like 30 seconds. Okay, I like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, I like that. And I'll put that on one side. And once I've gone through the catalog, I'll come back and say, okay, 8 out of the 30 tracks I actually like. Then I'll listen to them. Oh, actually, I do like that. And then I might rate them. I might say, this is like 5 stars for me, meaning that I'll play that. That's absolute, in my style, that's a banger for me. I might rate something 4-star because that might be an in-between track. So then I won't go out to a set with all just bangers. I'll go out with tracks that I know, okay, this is a good point. This is going to get them bumping. But for the next 2 tracks, I want to get them to mellow down a little bit, settle in, and, you know, then a nice ebb and flow. And then bring another super hyped up track. And then maybe do 2 or 3 really good tracks and drop them down again. So when I'm looking at that, that's the kind of things that I'm trying to measure. Because if you go out with just banger after banger.
When you're saying rating as well, just for other DJs and that are looking to how to structure their music, are you using Rekordbox or iTunes, and are you rating it like with the stars on it, saying like you're rating it 1 to 5, because then you can go and search via rating that you're looking for this energy? Or
so I just at home, I've just got a small little track to set up, and I just sit in my chair and I do that. But when we're out, we obviously use CDJ as a mixer. I don't take my equipment with me. I leave that at home because.
And for your cataloging, you're using Rekordbox or iTunes? Or
the Tractor, Tractor's got their file system.
Tractor's got their file system, yeah.
So they've got their file system.
Okay, so it's the same kind of system, just, yeah.
So then I'll use the star rating, then I know. And then if I am going to go out, and if I've, for example, through the year, I've found like 40 tracks that I've put all in the certain rating, I'm like, okay, I'm obviously not going to take all of them, but then I'll put them into a folder. Then I know, okay, these are all 5 stars, these are 4 stars, and I know, okay, that's how I play them.
Awesome. Oh, even what I've started doing now, like what I considered an approach of vinyl approach was like when I used to watch the Hard House guys, Paul Glasby and Ann Savage and that, they would have their Rekordbox and they would have the sets kind of planned, but then have vinyls back and front of each one, like with their new, like in kind of an altered direction. And I've started doing that with my sets. So then instead of like in 2 hours, I'm playing like about 28 tracks, sometimes a little more. I like do shorter mixes, or some tracks I want to like really like punch them, you know. And I'll make that like a 60-track playlist of going from this direction all the way that further than what I would go, and then start with the list. So then when I get there, I'm like, what's the guy playing before me? And I can kind of like wing it.
Yeah, the flexibility.
Flexibility is there, yeah. But then going from that, you were inspired by the Psy and got into the DJing. What made you get into making music then?
You reach a certain point as a DJ where you start to have your own ideas. Like being a DJ for so long, the experience I've got is I know what works on a dance floor. from all my experience, and even still to this day, when I'm doing a set, I know what works. I've studied, like I was telling you earlier on, when I was getting into this journey, sometimes if we go out, I would study, like I might be on the mezzanine, looking down and you could see the dance floor and you can see the DJ, and I'd actually study what they were doing, how they were mixing, how the crowd was reacting. And as a DJ, you have the front row seat to seeing how the crowd's reacting. So even when I'm DJing, I'm still experimenting. I'm still trying to figure things out. And then you start to have your own ideas. So I always thought to myself, I was very happy being a DJ because I know I'm good at that. And then I met a friend of mine back in the day who was a very talented producer, terrible DJ, but very talented producer. And I was like, oh, damn, like, you're lacking structure, you're lacking this, and you're lacking this. And I started to get sitting with him in the studio, and I started to try and figure out how I could put my own stamp on music. And then what I realized, what I brought to the table was a knowledge of the dance floor and understanding. What he brought to the table was sharing with me how to write melodies, how to do this. And then when we got together, I was like, oh, damn, I'm actually writing music that I know I would play, that I feel I enjoy. And when we did write music and we did play onto the dance floor, I was getting the reaction that I was hoping to get.
Yeah.
And then you realize writing music is a long process. It is hours and weeks and months and even years of working at something that you might not ever release or no one might ever hear. But you sit hour after hour after hour after hour, look back and forth, back and forth. And then, as my wife will tell you, sometimes she'd have to leave the house because you go playing a loop and back into loop and it goes back and she gets like, how are you not being driven mad? I'm like
yeah,
I'm trying to get
that's the definition of an insanity. You know?
Yeah. And then, the crazy thing is like it's when you write a good track, two phases afterwards. I'll go to bed really happy. Oh, that was epic. Oh, I can't believe we did this track in 2 weeks. Or, oh, that's good. And then you wait for the next morning going, fuck, that was so good. Sorry. That was so good. Are we ever going to be able to write another track like this? And the self-doubt creeps in. Like, then you sit in front of the studio and then it's always amazing. If you listen to your first save and you listen to your last save, how different the product is that you go through.
For sure.
So writing music is, it's also a science. It's actually a science.
Well, music is mathematics.
Yeah.
And sort of frequencies. So it literally is, it's a science. The interesting thing as well is that I've noticed that, especially with electronic music, is that you don't necessarily have to understand music itself. You have to understand that there's patterns and structures and formulas. You don't have to necessarily have an ear that understands, okay, this is a key, this is this. Because the way that you also are detuning things and adjusting things, if you can make something that can sound good, doesn't necessarily mean it fits to a rule, And I've noticed that with electronic music that many rules get broken. Mm-hmm. And then new things get formed and new ideas happen.
Yeah, because there's guidelines, and when you follow the guidelines, it allows you to be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a musical background. I played a lot of sports at school, and when I remember I dropped piano class because I thought, who's ever going to do that? I was more into sports. And then when I went to Vortex and this whole thing just blew my mind, I used to think, why did you drop that class? Because then you feel like, oh, if I did that, I would have understood this. But learning as a DJ, my ear, to trust my ear, because I 100% in my ear, I know what sounds good. And it's hard to explain to somebody, but how do you know this is good? I'm like, because you can hear it. You know it sounds good. And when I've worked with a few different producers along the years, it's the same thing. Oh, that doesn't sound good. How do you know? And then like listen to it like, okay, does it sound good? Yes, it sounds good. Now, okay, that is good. And then the science part about it, it's kind of a crazy thing, like the EQing or the compression or these type of things. Once you understand that, it makes things a little bit easier, and the creative process is where you have fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good journey, and it's still terrifying though, writing music and then playing it for the crowd and then trying to see what they react. It's terrifying.
And then trying to keep your energy up while you're looking at responses and judging yourself.
I've got 10 tracks now, completed tracks, that I've only played one time. It was about 3 years ago on the dance floor, and I had really good reaction. But then, also moving studios, your sound changes. And my wife doesn't understand that at all. What's wrong with the room now? Why is it? What do you mean? You got the microphones out, you're measuring, you're doing this. Oh, because of this and because of, she doesn't understand that. But then when she's around people I know, other producers, and they come and go, yeah, you can hear that this and this doesn't sound, and she doesn't get it. And I know that this final studio that I'm about to build this year, I'm going to be able to sit down and go over the fundamentals and then get that music out and finally played. It's crazy having completed tracks. You're like, oh, it's not ready yet. What do you mean it's not ready? It's like, that's not quite. Yeah, and that's also the fun.
But that's attention to detail, and that's important as well. That can make or break an impact of a track. It's important. I think all those fundamentals. That's why some of the biggest artists in the world are the biggest artists in the world, because not necessarily just about the music that they write, but because of the quality of the production. When it's so well written and designed that captures your ear, like, wow, that sounds good. There has to be something behind it. So
those are professionals for a reason.
That time to literally make that item exactly what they wanted it to be.
I mean, I'm a professional DJ. I'm not a professional producer. I'm not on that level yet. But DJing, I've got that. I know hands down what I'm doing, but still also the music is still trying to find my way with that.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with people, or I've got a lot of friends who are producers, and I send them a lot of stuff, and I've had the advantage of them saying, no, this is not right. This is not right. This is actually good. Keep going where you're going. So for me also, I'm still trying to find my way into that scene,
Yeah, but it's a journey as well. And along this journey, you've been mentioning ground up. So like you DJing, going to events, DJing, getting involved, producing. You were part of multiple labels as well.
Yeah, we've been on a few labels. We have released, when I was part of OCD, we released music on Free Spirit. I did a lot of touring with Free Spirit. That's also how I met you, coming down here to be one of the reps from Free Spirit. So after 25 years, you're bound to come across being on labels or, having your own sort of piece that you can offer. And in London, doing ground up, that's what we do as promoter. We're a good established promoter.
So how long have you been doing events in London for?
As ground up, it's been almost 4 years now, but I've been in London since 2003. So I think from about 2005, I started doing events in London.
Okay.
So it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. So we built up a good rapport. People really trust what you're doing and believe in what you're doing. What events are you doing? You were speaking about doing a New Year's Eve event.
So we've just done the New Year's Eve event now. We sold out in London. It's the third sellout we've had. New Year's for us is our flagship event. We do the only legal psy-trance event in London, because all the squat parties, the illegal events, there's such a crackdown on them. So we decided to do the New Year's event because I think it was 2002. There was not one psy-trance event that happened in London on New Year's Eve because they all got shut down. So we decided to take it upon ourselves and do the only legal New Year's Eve event. And we've been very fortunate with venues, that the venues we go to, the security are very understanding. They know that the people who come, the psy-trance crowd, they are good people. They just want to have fun. They're not there to cause any issues. So the security have been very good. We've managed to find really good venues that don't have astronomical drink prices. They're not charging double for New Year's. And people, when they come, they have a safe space. So we've tried to do a few events throughout the year. So we did one in like April, we did one in May, we did a day party in September, which also was really, really good. But the New Year's is kind of what we focus on because it's the biggest party night of the year. So we've just did that one now, which is really, really good. Sellout. We've got a few of the videos that will be available online very soon. You can see just how crazy everyone was up for it. So that's kind of what we focus on. That's our flagship event for New Year's.
Awesome. And where can people find information on about it?
We got our own website, grounduplondon.co.uk. We have a YouTube page which has our videos up. That's ground.up.london. That's on YouTube. And then obviously we've got our socials, which is also Ground Up London.
Okay. Awesome. We'll put that all in the links below for you guys as well. And now, because you're just taking a holiday, when you're going to come back to SA to play a gig here again as well?
Information will be available soon on that. Last year I was here, I played at Origin, it was absolutely...
Yeah, that was epic. That was insane.
Yeah, Origin is still one of my favorite places to play because the crowd there is so amazing. This year was just holiday, some family, like I said, come down and see you. Didn't want to do that. Also, after the New Year's, it was so draining that I just needed a holiday. And again, like I've been doing it for a long time. I'm not still chasing that dream, you know? I mean, like back in the day when we were here, we were every weekend, festival.
But so you know, you're obviously like you say, not chasing the dream, like of course becoming that rock star on the stages, but like your investment also in the audio industry, like you work in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. So you still are connected deeply to it, not just like your music and your DJing, but you actually are inspired by actually doing daily work in the environment too.
Yeah, I mean, I do the event work in London, and it's something I'm passionate about, and I'm fortunate enough to get paid well to do something you're passionate about, because there's something magical about setting an event up, having the event, done, and then breaking it all down and then moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more corporate in UK, but putting on our own events, our ground up events, it's amazing. I'm still fortunate that we can do that. And I have something that I can offer the music scene as my sort of way of saying thank you. And it's something that I will forever be passionate about, even if I might not be a DJ or a producer for the rest of my life. I will always have this love for this particular scene and for the music. And I love the underground. And you'll see the videos that will be posted about New Year's. It really looks like almost like a cyberpunk underground rave. It looks like it's in a basement somewhere. It's got like a little bit of a boiler room effect, but you can tell that the people are there, that's where our roots are, and also the name Ground Up, it comes from, we wanted to do something in the UK scene that's completely organic. It's not about how many people we can get through the door. It's not about how many headliners. It's genuinely about rebuilding the underground scene from the ground up, which is investing in the local scene. It's been putting on events, high quality events that people come to and they talk about for weeks and months afterwards about the vibe. It's about creating that organic sort of underground movement that's happening, because we try to take away the commercial elements out of that, because that's something I'm still passionate about. The underground scene it's actually special. It really is a special thing when it's done right. You can see how the people react and just the feeling afterwards. That's something that I always take with me. It still inspires me.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Still inspires me. Once that bug bites you, you're stuck.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad like I can offer more than just being a DJ trying to play everywhere. Actually have something that we can give back in that way.
Yeah. Also, like, because you work in the industry, you've DJed, you produce, you understand how to put that all together. You understand, like, you're not going to walk in, you're like, oh, well, the sound is crap, like, you're like, I understand sound, I know what we need for the space, I know how to make it look good, that it actually makes it inviting for people to come in. Mm-hmm. I understand the environment, understand what music needs to be played to give that journey so that people are not just blast it from the beginning to the end. It's like an actual journey throughout the night, you know. All that isn't important. So that when people actually come to the event, they feel comfortable and excited, and they get like taken by a journey and leave and go like, wow, I want to come back to that, you know?
That's exactly what we've been pioneering. Well, not pioneering, I would say we've been trying to bring back to the forefront in the UK scene. So we're investing a lot in the local scene and also the resident DJs for Ground Up. So when we did our New Year's event, we didn't have 2 rooms, we had 1 room, and we started with sort of like down-tempo stuff into a little bit of the techno, then into psy-techno, and then from New Year's when that hit, we went into psy-trance, like the progressive psy-trance, and we ended in psy-trance in the end of the evening, which was about maybe 146 BPM. So there was a full spectrum journey for the people, and that's not really being done now in London. So either they're going to do just psy-trance, or they might have a room where they're putting other music in. So when you get into the venue, it's, you know, straight away where people don't have the time to, you know, build up and start to really enjoy themselves and really enjoy the evening. So we're trying to invest a lot also in that, to tell people also, hey, listen, you know, when Ground Up's doing something, they're going to come for the party because they know that from beginning to end it's going to be good. And if they trust us, we are going to take them on a journey that they will remember for a while.
That's awesome, bro. Well, that's exactly why I also got into this industry as well. You want to be able to give that journey, whether you're DJing or producing or creating an event, so when people leave, they have something to remember you by. I think that's important.
Yeah, because for me, one thing I keep close to me is, if we stop doing events now, in 3 years from now, not many people are going to remember who we were. But if we do it right, a few years from now, people will remember those times they've been to our events. So that's also what we're trying to bring forward, is that it's something that we want to last for a while, instead of it just being now get what we can get and then walk away. We're trying to really...
And also I had people come to my events as their first event, and they still to this day come to me and say like, I remember those times where like you literally like broke my virginity, like you made me addicted to the music and the people, the environment, because I had that experience, and now I'm still at these parties because I love the people and I love the music and I love the space. So you're inspiring people too, and making an important part of their journey of their life. So I think it's...
Yeah, you gave me one of my first shots in Cape Town. At Bang Bang Club.
At the PsynOpticz night.
At the PsynOpticz, yes. Also Butterfly Studios.
Butterfly, that was a good one.
Yeah, so even from then, like, that's how we've known each other for a long time. We've been friends for a while, because you gave me my first shot. And I also believe in that. Like what you did for me, I also try to do for some other people, you know, invest and believe and do those, because I remember those nights. Those were crazy. And a lot of my friends, they remember those nights also. Hell yeah.
Yeah, those are epic nights.
Yeah.
Sure. Like I do miss having a good psytrance night in Cape Town CBD in a really good club. We were very, very lucky to have that space to provide those events for that many years. That was, and that allowed me to build the brand. That's where it that's where it like actually like skyrocketed from that place, you know. So it's, Bang Bang was a big start and led to the festivals and led to everything else and building other businesses.
Yeah.
So bug bit me, and still can't get away from it.
Me neither, bro. Me neither.
To music as a people, it's psytrance is a way of life. Like I don't know, like I enjoy. For me, when I go to parties and I connect and network and chat to everyone, it's like a place that I feel comfortable in and happy in. It's a good place to be.
And is there going to be more PsynOpticz events coming up?
You never know, yeah. You never know. Maybe.
You never know.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming into the studio and coming back to SA.
Appreciate it.
Stopping by and having a
As you can see, I'm a little bit sweaty, but that's because we came from ice cold London to beautiful summer in Cape Town.
No, so I put the aircon on. It's not cold enough.
I'm still acclimatizing. It's going to take a week or two. But thanks for having me. I
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
it.
Really appreciate it. We'll put all the links below for Dillan M, for his projects, for Ground Up, everything about him. And yeah, we're looking forward to the future together, bro.
Likewise.
Awesome. Nice
Thanks.
one.
Boom.